Hello my friends, the film opens with a man wakes up and finds himself trapped inside a vault room with a dead mouse, a lamp full of flies, and padlocked metal cupboard. When the man stands up, he makes an unsuccessful attempt to open the vault door. He initially thinks that his co-workers are playing a joke with him. He then looks about for any concealed cameras, but there are none. A few hours go by. The man grows increasingly perplexed about what's happening. After a little while, he got very angry and knocking on the door hard, saying that he has to go to the bathroom immediately, but no one answers. He attempts to use his cell phone to contact for assistance, but can't connect it to any networks. He likewise fails in his attempt to open the metal cupboard. The next day he gets frustrated and tired, so he urinates and drinks that urine so he doesn't die. And we see that the man almost loses his mind because of fear and loneliness, and starts hitting everything around him, and hits the light, and suddenly sees a key, breaks it immediately, and takes the key, and discovers that this is the key to the metal cabinet and opens it immediately. He finds a lot of equipment inside, including a chisel, a blowtorch, and a hammer. The man makes the decision to break the vault door using this equipment, but after a few minutes, his inability to use the tool properly causes him to give up. The man then makes an attempt to turn on the sprinklers and set off the ceiling-mounted fire alarm. He believes he can get enough water out of it to drink. He is disappointed when he sees that the alarm is ineffective because nothing happens even after setting it on fire. He gets very angry and hits everything around him, and the iron tank falls to the ground, and behind it he sees a small hole in the wall and starts digging in it with all his strength. The man became very tired because of extreme hunger and pays attention to the dead mouse and surrounded by worms, and unfortunately eats those worms so as not to die. The man continues to dig it and finally pierces the wall, but sees the steel bars that he cuts with a blowtorch. Then he sees a ray of light that he gives him hope. Then the man increases his pace and gradually makes the hole large enough to pass itself through it. However, when he reaches the other side, he is stunned to know that even this room is another cellar, just like the one he was previously trapped in. He is really enraged by this, since it seems like all of his efforts have been in vain. In contrast, the first vault, the second room has a lantern next to a coffin. When he lifts the coffin's lid out of curiosity, he discovers a woman clothed traditionally. He carefully touches her to make sure she's dead, but suddenly she wakes up. She screams in terror, quickly running away from him in spite of his efforts to speak with her. The linguistic barrier prevents them from understanding one another. The woman flees to the first vault room where the man had been staying, and she is very afraid. Instead of attempting to pursue her, the man just lies down to rest within the coffin. The woman awakens him up on the third day and exhorts him to keep drilling, but the man is out of energy to working any longer. The continuous effort has also severely harmed his hands. Seeing that she has no other choice, the man starts by teaching the woman how to dig. The woman goes to the other room because she needs to urinate, and she is going to take down her trousers, but the man follows her using sign language, and he says that in order for them to have water, she must urinate in his leather shoes. But she is reluctant at first, but she eventually gives up when she finds out that the man hasn't had any water for 3 days, and that her urine is crucial to his survival. After that, they use this strange solution, and the man gulps down her pee. Then he offers it to the woman, which she grudgingly accepts despite her disdain. The man then eats some more maggots to make up for his lack of protein. The woman sits in a corner, sobbing at her terrible fate. As he then goes back to his work, she says in her native tongue that she is disappointed and let down. Then we see the woman crying heartily because of their situation and thinking that they will not survive. The man sings a song to her to cheer her up. After noticing her unhappiness, the woman gradually wipes away her tears and joins him in working after receiving encouragement from him. Suddenly, the man harms his hand after inadvertently striking his hand rather than the chisel. And here, the woman takes off her headscarf, rips it, and applies it over his wound. After that, the two start working together and concentrate on breaking through the wall. The latch on the vault door behind them automatically rotates as they carry on with their work. Then they realize this. They run to the door to try to open it, but as they get closer, it gets locked. They think about ignoring it, since they think someone is manipulating them when this keeps happening. However, it takes them some time to figure out the real secret to unlock the door. It turns out that the vault door automatically opens as if they don't look at it. After they learning this, the man comes up with a plan, and the two start to back away. The door unexpectedly remains open, allowing the two to enter the third room. However, similar to the last time, they discover themselves in yet another vault, but this one features an empty gravestone. The woman looks around the room and says to using the same approach to open the vault door. Sadly, this time their plan doesn't work. Then they begin excavating the grave deeper, but the man is now so exhausted from hunger and thirst that he can't stand it. He eventually gives up and rests in the grave. The woman checks on him and discovers that, as a result of his weakness, he has a fever. The man eventually starts to believe that the person behind it all want them to kill one another. He surmises that they will not be able to live unless one of them is dead. The man starts thinking to kill the woman, but he cannot do it. He cries out, saying that he cannot take another person's life, but also he can't eating dead rats and maggots. The man wishes to die quietly because he has given up on life. The woman, on the other hand, kicks and slaps him to get him to stay awake. After that, she finds a way to carry him out of the grave and give him some time of relax. The woman becomes agitated and begins pounding on this vault door, but nothing happened. Then she cries and gives the man some of her tears as a means to sustain his life. Shortly after, she holds his hand and unexpectedly kisses him. She then undresses the man and starts touching him, which quickly wakes him up, and her plan is to keep him alive by making ice cream dream with him. Surprisingly, the plan works, and the man gets rejuvenated after the ordeal. The two then decide to rest for a few hours. Then the man wakes up and finds the woman slept next to him and trembling due to cold. He crawls into the second room and tears the coffin liner, then returns to cover her with it, but extremely exhausted, and collapses once again onto the ground. A few hours later, the man hears the vault door unlocking by itself, similar to before. Hastily, he awakens the woman, but prevents her from looking at the door, and they walk backward, making their way towards the iron door. As soon as they step outside the room, they are filled with immense relief, as they are greeted by breathtaking scenery, featuring waterfalls, birds, and flowers, witnessing this paradise in front of them. The two smile at each other, and that's how the movie ends. Share your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive everything new. Miss Lambada was with you. Goodbye, my friends.